You mentioned that everybody sees you now and what you've been able to accomplish in this business, but it didn't start off all peaches and cream.
No.
You got dropped by a label,
Mm-hmm.
and then so when the label dropped you, what went through your mind? You're like, damn, I'm just getting in the business. They dropped your boy already?
Well, see, the thing is, I think a common misconception is that I got dropped, you know, due to a lackluster performance. I requested to be released.
Okay.
After my first album came out, and it didn't achieve the kind of the magnitude of success that I had expected.
What you envisioned,
okay. Right, and probably the label either. And this came at a time where L.A. Reid had, you know, sold LaFace.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? He accepted a position as the president of Arista Records.
Okay.
And all of the roster that was on LaFace got kind of bound over to Arista.
Okay.
And now, instead of it being L.A. Reid in Atlanta with this boutique label, kind of like a Motown in Detroit, you know, now it's like we got to go all the way to New York to the Arista building to get stuff done, different departments, heads, and so on and so forth. So the album came out, and it was a cult classic. Like, people loved it as soon as they heard it.
Right.
And I just did a lot of self-promotion, self-marketing, driving from Tallahassee to Jacksonville to Memphis to Chattanooga to Greensboro, Augusta, Savannah, all of the neighboring cities and rural areas, and just hand to hand in my product. And I just kind of created a swell, you know, that got the attention, finally, of the people up in New York at Arista. But when I got the call, myself and Jason Jeter, we kind of took the position of, man, we kind of been funding this movement ourselves, and we've been operating as an independent. So for us to go into a second cycle, we like to renegotiate, and we want a JV, 50-50.
Right.
And we want $2 million, so we could do it ourselves.
Right.
Or you could just let us go. And, you know, we went to lunch. LA said, you know what? I see what you're saying. I get it completely. Let me think about it. I'm going to go to lunch. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. That's a good sign. We going to lunch. Then LA was like, no. I'm going to go to lunch. And you go to lunch.
Right.
I was like, all right, pizza it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
so what were you thinking? Well, okay, I'm going to lunch. You're going to lunch, but we're not going to lunch together.
I didn't have no thoughts at that point. I'm like, okay, cool, we got him. That's what I'm thinking. We got him.
Okay.
I started spending the money in my head already. You know what I'm saying? So we leave and come back, and we were greeted by the VP at the time, I believe, Mark Pitts.
Okay.
Mark Pitts said, all right, man, I think y'all gonna be happy. I was like, shh, hell yeah. Going in there, and they say, all right, I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm letting you go.
Come on, dog. Not like that.
I said, bro, you didn't even have to call me back in here to tell me. You could have called us on the phone or anything. Nah, but he let us go, and that was the most uncomfortable elevator ride back downstairs, because Jason was just looking at me like, you know, I could just.
He's like, why did you give him that third option? You know, renegotiate the deal, give us $2 million, or you could just release it. Why you had to put the third option? Why not just go with the first two?
I mean, because I felt like the stakes had to be raised, you know what I'm saying? He had to understand, you know, just the magnitude of the moment. But to be honest with you, man, that was the greatest thing anybody in the business ever did for me. I was on fire. You know, I was making like $30,000 a show. I already had my first single for trap music, which was 24s, in rotation on radio stations in Atlanta. And I mean, that was really the best thing that could have happened. I went and got 2.3 from Atlantic, and they ended up doing the deal I wanted, giving me the equity that I asked for.
Right.
You know, I just couldn't get it there in that building, but he did, man. He was a real solid cat, still my brother, my mentor to this day. I still consider myself among LaFace University. And he let me go and allowed me the opportunity to be a free agent on, with a fair market value. And I went out there and made my own way, and that's, you know, the evolution began from there.
As you're riding the elevator down, you're no longer with LaFace. What are you saying, man? Did you give yourself a timeline? Like, I got to get to another label. I gotta start doing mixtapes. I mean, so what was your thought process as you're riding the elevator? You said it was a long ride down.
Yeah. I mean, well, to be honest with you, we was already doing mixtapes. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? We had already had our Gangsta Grills with Drama. We had some mixtapes drop in New York. We were really asserting ourselves and becoming familiar with the market. And it wasn't never about how long until we get another deal.
Okay. You knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, it was about making
The right deal.
making this next decision the best decision for the next phase of our career.
Okay.
And we put ourselves in a position to catch the eyes of all the labels. But we felt that we were the best fit for Atlantic, you know, because they needed us as much as we needed them.
Correct.
You know, and they embraced us, supported us, and you know, gave us the platform and the resources to be able to push through and break through the other side of mainstream success.
Did your confidence waver? Because a lot of times we get released, we get fired, something traumatic, something bad happens. You're like, damn, am I as good as I thought I was? I mean, because if I was this good, this wouldn't have happened. Did your confidence ever waver?
Nah, man, because I remember it was something that I asked for. You know what I'm saying? I remember.
But did you really ask for it? Like, if you don't give me a raise, I'm leaving. Please give me a raise. I don't want to leave.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I was asking more so for the $2 million than I was. Either way, though, like, you know, I mean, I'm standing in it. We got to roll with it at this point, and we did, and we wasn't in like the worst position ever because of the groundwork that had already been put in as to the reason why we were called up to New York to have the discussion.
Conversation anyway.
Yeah.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and become an official member of Club Shay Shay, where we do something before two something.